cafe anyway. Yeah.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
My name is Mike Matthews. Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. This is a show where I talk about things that are very
Mike's Daily Podcast.
fascinating. This is a show with fascinating facts. And I think that it's time for all of us to relax. It's episode 2346. Lots to fix in this world. Don't show me no tricks. It's time to get all sick. Sick, I mean.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But in a good, healthy way. What? Yes. That's kind of my song for today.
Mike's
2346.
Daily
Mike's Daily Podcast. I'm really excited.
Yeah!
Because I'm going to talk about trash. Because maybe if we were a little more cognizant of what we threw out, of what we recycled, of what we do, we'd have a better world. But I want to first tell you that, and I didn't do a podcast on Monday. Forgive me, I took a day off, and that's simply because a lot of bad things happened. The first being, I woke up about 5:30 and heard a loud screaming noise. It sounded like a cat screaming, and I thought, it's one of our kind wild cats that we have. But no, in fact, it was raccoons. And I went out to the backyard with my flashlight, and my lovely lady friend, she came out to check out what was going on too, and she shut the door behind her. And as I give her the flashlight to look around, and I go over to the door because I got a bad feeling something just happened. So I go to the door, and sure enough, it's locked, and there's no other way back into the house, and I don't have a key stashed anywhere. And I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of information just in case you ever figure out where I live. But here's the thing, is we figured out a way in. Yes, it was...
And here's today's podcast picture.
It was like figuring out the one least resistant... Not the least... What was the thing? The thing that ended up causing the Death Star to blow up. They figured out that one thing. That one blemish. That one imperfection. We found it, we knew what it was, and we got in. We got in through that... What was the thing in the Death Star in the 1977 movie? That it went into the exhaust duct? Was that it? That's how it... Well, the podcast picture today is not of the late, great Basil the Boxer, though there are so many good pictures of him, and I will post another one of him very soon. What a wonderful, wonderful dog. It's, I think, Empty the Shelters going on right now, by the way. So if you have been thinking about getting a dog, go to the shelters and get one. Don't go to a stupid breeder. Sorry if I just offended all the breeders out there. But no, there are plenty of dogs that need a home. And I would have a dog right now, but I've got 2 cats that were homeless that needed a home. So my milk of kindness has runneth dry. But still, the late, great Basil the Boxer, I loved him so. Still love him to this day. All right. The podcast picture today is of this area on the Halifax River in Daytona Beach, where we were not too long ago. And this is the Halifax River. Looking from, what is the name of this park? City Island is what this is called. City Island. City of Daytona Beach. Yes, so check out that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. What a picturesque place. And if you're ever in Daytona Beach in Florida, it'd be a great place to go to. But, and that water is so warm. It's amazing. Mom, not doing so well. Speaking of Daytona Beach, she's doing better, but she had another bad issue with her leg. I won't go into too much detail, but they were able to do surgery and fix the issue. It looks like it's fixed for now, so I'm hoping that she'll continue to heal, but she wants to get the heck out of the hospital. She is done. And I guess there's 2 hospitals in Daytona Beach. There's the Halifax and the Adventist Hospital. Apparently, the Halifax one is slightly better, and thankfully she's at that one. But right now, she's a little tired of it all, and she wants to go home. So, think good thoughts for her. Say a prayer for her if you are so inclined. I would appreciate it so. Last podcast picture was actually taken when we were hanging out with my mom at Land Shark in Daytona Beach. I thought I was going to do a picture from Half Moon Bay, but it ended up being that picture. For the podcast, last one, that was called Recalling. Because I was recalling things, as I tend to do on this podcast. And then we were also discussing how your posts stick around forever and ever and never go away. And I found the old podcast that I did called The Last Place on Earth. Where we are, actually, The Last Place on Earth, Cafe Anyway. That still has not ever gone away. We are still at The Last Place on Earth, but we're at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, here on FF episode 2346. So, those two very trying things to deal with yesterday. What a Monday, so I couldn't bring you a podcast. But there's a great article in the What's Happening Tri-City Voice newspaper, and I was in Fremont, California today, and I picked up this paper before I went into Pete's, and I give them a plug, but now I'm going to give them a slug. They don't have eggnog lattes. They used to make the best eggnog lattes. So if you're counting, you can't get an eggnog latte at Pete's or at Starbucks. So if you're trying to find eggnog lattes, those places, no. If you are a mom and pop coffee place, think about that. Make that your little trick, the thing that makes you stand out, your gimmick, and everyone will want to check it out. All right, so there's this great article called Trash Talk as we go outside a Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, The Last Place on Earth. It's written by the pickup artist. He says, or she says, I don't know if it's a he or a she. It's the pickup artist, though. And the pickup artist says, every time you choose to recycle, you're giving that item a second life to serve a new purpose and save natural resources. Now more than ever, it's important that... And you know what? I got to put my glasses on. Yes? What? Mike wears glasses? Yeah, I have the cheaters on because although they make me feel sick, but my LASIK eye surgery is not going to last much longer here at 53. They told me, when you get to 40, it'll probably stop working. And here we are at 53. By the way, Mel Brooks. So I like to poke fun at Fresh Air and Terry Gross. Hi, welcome back to Terry Gross. And wait, no, that's not how she says it. Hi, welcome back to Fresh Air. We're talking with Mel Brooks on Fresh Air. Mel Brooks is amazing. He's 94. He's just come out with a memoir. And he said something pretty interesting about, I guess there's a song, I forget what it is. High Anxiety is a fantastic song, by the way. The way he sings it like Sinatra, that's brilliant. He really does. He does the thing. I didn't even know there was a style of his, but where he sings and he stretches out a note. Nah, I'm not even doing that right. But yeah, Mel Brooks does it perfect. So, in the song High Anxiety. But this is a different song where he says these words. Sort of. I'm paraphrasing. I'm recalling from memory. He says something to the effect that live every day, be happy to be alive. In this life, no one will survive. Okay, it sounded better the way he said it. But he was really proud of that line, too. The one that I'm paraphrasing and not saying correctly. He said that when he wrote that line, he thought, oh my gosh, expect what's it? Expect the worst, but no, wait, that's not it. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst. Something like that is one of his songs. Anyway, Cafe Anyway, what an optimistic guy. And I guess it just goes to show that even in your 90s, it's good to have a sense of humor and to laugh as much as you can. We don't laugh enough in this life, and we need to. Laugh as much as we can. So, let's say, for example, you got wrapping paper, because that's really funny. And we use that, of course, a lot this time of year. Paper is recyclable, so don't just put it in the landfill. Remove the sticky tape. Ribbons and bows are not recyclable, but they can be stored and reused next year. Recycle most wrapping paper, but not the foil or glitter decorated type. Those are considered trash. Cardboard boxes and cartons can be flattened and put in recycle bins or saved to use again later. Now, I was told, you should, in Podcastro Valley, they tell you to take the cardboard boxes, to break them down, and then put them on the side. I did double check that with the waste management website for Castro Valley, Podcastro Valley, but that's what and lately, I have been getting these commercials on my YouTube when I'm watching the YouTube. And it says, it's this guy saying, when you're in Castro Valley, remember the 3 Ps. You should only flush the 3 Ps, and you can pretty much guess what those are. One of them actually being the word I just said. But trees cannot exceed the limit for length and may need to be cut if you're trying to recycle a Christmas tree. Consider buying a live tree that you can plant in your yard. The important thing is you don't need a fire hazard if you have one of them chopped trees. After Christmas, most sanitation services will pick trees up for free. Just follow the instructions for your specific waste management company. And you got to remove tinsel. Who uses tinsel anymore? Maybe that is coming back, though. Lights and ornaments, trees are going into the chipper. That makes me chipper. Put your tree... Because this is what Mike does. He takes a word and he flips it around. That's what his thing is. Put your tree on the curb the night before your regularly scheduled pickup. Don't wait till April to put your tree out. It ain't going to get picked up. I don't think anyway. And it's just going to sit there, and a fire hazard and an eyesore is what you have. Here's a water conservation tip for the month, according to the pickup artist. Turn off the tap after you wet your toothbrush. Oh, thank you, pickup artist. That's so true. My lovely lady friend uses entirely too much water. It's amazing that some people leave the water running the whole time they brush. That's what she does. And I am a bit of a broken record telling her not to do that, especially because I pay the water bill. Those 2 to 3 minute floodgates will waste a lot of water when you add them up over time. It's not that hard. And pickup artist says, we have indoor plumbing, so consider it a luxury to be able to control water instead of fetching it from a creek or a well. Dolly from the Family Circus comic strip said, I hope today is one of those days I never want to forget. That's good. All right. And I'm going to take these glasses off before I get ill. Oh, wait, no. There's one other article I wanted to read to you real quick. Yes, it's the podcast where Mike reads articles. Here's something to think about. The holidays are here, and that means it's flu season. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, cases of influenza typically begin to rise in October, with the highest number occurring in December through February. In the U.S., an average of 8% of the population is infected with the flu each year. With so much focus on COVID-19, it's easy to forget the importance of protecting yourself from seasonal illnesses. Influenza, a respiratory virus that infects the nose, throat, and lungs, can lead to life-threatening symptoms or simply feeling lousy and needing to miss work or school. Some individuals are more vulnerable than others to flu-related complications. So anyone 6 months or older should receive the flu vaccine. This according to this article, also in What's Happening Tri-City Voice. The vaccine is particularly recommended for young children and seniors, pregnant women, and those with chronic health conditions such as asthma, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes. In addition, anyone working in a higher risk setting, such as long-term care facility. Flu vaccines need to be administered annually in order to be effective. There are two reasons why people need annual flu vaccines. The first is that immunity to the flu provided by a vaccine declines over time. The second is that because the flu virus changes, a new vaccine is needed each year to optimize a person's immunity to the newest flu virus. The degree of immunity provided by the flu vaccine can differ from person to person. The CDC reports that the flu vaccine has been shown to reduce the risk of having to go to the doctor by 40 to 60% and prevents tens of thousands of hospitalizations each year. One 2021 study cited by the CDC showed that adults who had been vaccinated and still got the flu had a 26% lower risk of being admitted to the ICU and a 31% lower risk of death than those who were unvaccinated. Now, some people hear that and go, wait, but those are small numbers. I'm not going to put my health in jeopardy with a vaccine that I don't know anything about. Some people say that. You've heard them, especially if you listen to some of the radio stations I work for. But getting vaccinated is not only about your own health. Being vaccinated can also protect people around you, your colleagues and family. Remember that. That's probably the most important thing. Babies too young to be vaccinated, the elderly, and others with chronic health conditions are particularly susceptible to the flu. By getting vaccinated, you are lowering their risk of the flu as well as your own. One of the top reasons that people decline the flu vaccine is that they incorrectly believe there's a risk that they will get the flu from it. And that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't get it for a long time. And I still know rational people that will say that. But the flu vaccine cannot cause the flu. The type of flu vaccine administered by a shot is made with an inactivated virus, meaning the virus used in the vaccine is no longer infectious. Similarly, the flu vaccine, when received by nasal spray, contains an attenuated or weakened virus that cannot be contracted. There you go. All right. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway. Somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Look who's here. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you
What?
I really think that all that stuff you just said was gobbledygook, and I don't believe in any of it. Tell you
What?
It's all lies.
Okay. You can choose to believe that. I'm one of those that tries not to judge people lest he be judged type thing, but still, I'm going to get vaccinated and be careful. And that may be different from the way Mike Matthews was a couple years ago. I don't know. But hey, oh, by the way, that podcast picture I'm posting at mikesdailypodcast.com is also very close to where the Florida State League baseball practices and plays. Also, the City Island Tennis Center is near there. And the Volusia County Sheriff. Just thought you would know. And the Daytona Beach Area Convention Center is near there, too. Oh, a Convention and Visitor Bureau. FYI. Look who else is here.
Oh, Mike, I make the delicious root beer. Have some right now.
Are you okay? You just bashed your head against that tree right there.
Yeah, I'm okay. Drink the root beer. I'll cut you.
I think he's not feeling too good. But all right, I'll drink the root beer. Wow, thank you. You know, some people would rather get a hole in the head than get the vaccine, but, you know, that's how it is. Or bash their head like The Brewmaster did. But whatever the case is, you can chime in about any of this. 336mm daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast will try to be. But often I get interrupted with things like getting locked out of my house and other fun stuff. Yes. Such a joy.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!